Hello, I'm Bill Myers. Today we're in my Deerfield Beach art studio, and it's about 9 miles north of Fort Lauderdale. And I want to talk to you today about what I call my project CUBIE. This is a prototype of CUBIE in the background. It's basically recycled computer parts. This particular CUBIE is made out of pretty expensive parts out of some IBM mainframe computers that were disassembled and repaired, and the engineer gave me the used parts. And so I created CUBIEs to be basically anywhere from 3 or 4 or 5 inches square up to as large as 3 feet square. Most of the CUBIEs I'm trying to get together for my show in Fort Lauderdale in a couple of months will be about this size. They'll be about 1 foot square, and some will have battery operated lights on the inside, and it's kind of nice because they kind of glow green, and you can adjust the light intensity. You know, I just use simple battery operated lights. And they're unique, you know, and they're striking. People like them. Sometimes they just put them on their desk, you know, or they put them on a pedestal. And then we have one of my paintings in the background. This is what I call my Stormy Night series. It's a heavy palette knife style. I do an undercoating of color. And then after that dries, I go over it with a heavier palette knife style with black and white, and I let the color kind of show through in the background. And I put little hints of moonlight or sunlight in the painting, so that it appears like, you know, it's been the breaking of weather after a very stormy day, you know. And I find people really enjoy this. They're a little different than just the average beach scene. I paint a series I call Fantasy Forest, which are all intense, bright, conflicting colors, hot pinks and oranges and reds and blues and greens, and they're just basically intense landscapes. They just pop off the wall, more or less. I like to design. I've been doing it all my life. I've designed chairs and furniture and cars and boats and houses. And I took up painting when I turned about 20 years old. I worked for an art gallery in Beverly Hills, and I knew a little bit about art history, and I started out doing all their advertising and public relations, and I just got into selling art. And it was very, very exciting because I met a lot of very interesting people. And in that area of Los Angeles, I met people that had all kinds of art styles, from contemporary paintings up to impressionist paintings, post-impressionist paintings, and modern and Western art. And I sort of became an art dealer for a while, and I painted paintings and exhibited in outdoor shows, and I found it very competitive to get a one-man show. So this year, after many years of I finally sort of settled down and decided I was going to put together a show, and I went around to all the galleries in Fort Lauderdale, and I found a gallery that was interested in my work and said that they had arranged a show for me. Unfortunately, my main background's in advertising and public relations, and that industry's been a little slow the past few years. So I need to put together some funds so I can buy more art supplies and put together more CUBIEs. I have to go out and find this stuff, and sometimes I have to buy the parts. But one way or another, I'll get the show off the ground. And maybe with your support, I can do it a little sooner. And I'm willing to give some of my artworks in exchange for some backing. And I will only give away original arts of work. Everyone will be sized accordingly and priced accordingly for a donation or support towards my project. And everyone will be accompanied with a certificate of authentication. Everyone will be signed on the front and back, and every piece I give away will be an original painting by Bill Myers or a CUBIE. So I'll show you a few more of my paintings, and you can see what the different styles are like. And then after that, I hope you'll consider supporting my project, and thank you very much. This is what I call my Earthy Abstracts series. This is modeling paste and acrylic paints applied on the top of a styrofoam panel. In most cases, I use also stretch canvas. And this has, as you can see, seashells and little rocks that are various colors. Sometimes I put some precious or semi-precious gemstones in with the mix. So it's supposed to basically look like a slice of the earth with something going on. Some of these I do in ancient Aztec and Mayan designs, and they look very interesting. I also do some where I press fern leaves into the mixture and let them harden, and then I apply gesso on top and then color over it, but still they come out looking like a piece of the earth or a fossil. This is a stormy night series. You can see the intense color, sort of a hint of a mountain in the background, snow covered, little wisps of wind maybe blowing the snow away off the top there. A little orange yellowish hint in the upper left hand corner, sort of the hint of a sun or moon trying to break through. In the very middle of the painting, horizontally, you see what looks like maybe water at the base of the mountain. And then we have some vegetation up towards the front of the mountain. And it's all heavy palette knife work with strokes into it. And I always sort of sign my name the same way. That's down in here, just kind of scratched into the paint. You can see it a little bit now. This is one of my Stormy Night series. This is painted on foam core board. And I put a frame around it just for display purposes. It doesn't necessarily go with this particular piece, but this is painted with palette knife. As you can see, it's color, a little landscape and flowers in the foreground, sort of a dark, brooding, stormy night in the background with a little bit of a hint of sunlight or moonlight coming through. So it really has quite a lot of life to it for a dark painting, you know. And I'll show you another one. Another Stormy Night series. This piece has a ocean scene with a foreground of sand dunes and some wild sea grasses. In the background we have the sun breaking through, and there's quite a bit of purple and blue in the sky, and it's very colorful and very powerful. This artwork is approximately 20 by 24 inches. It's from my Lovely Ladies series, and I have quite a few that I'm going to be giving away that are in the neighborhood of 11 by 14 inches. This is oil on canvas, and I do quite a few that are acrylic on canvas. I like acrylics because they dry quicker, and you don't have to wait too long to rework them or before you give them away to people or sell them. But it's one of my Lovely Ladies series, and whimsical, a lot of yellow and blue and green, and it's a lot of fun. I'd like to show you a few paintings that I've done over the past 40 years, beginning in the 1970s, and then again in the 1980s and 90s, and the decade of 2000. I have my Lovely Ladies series, my identified flying objects, I call them, various UFOs and things flying around. My Earthy Abstracts series, of course, which was started in the 70s. The Stormy Night series you've seen already, and a few more of those. And the Earthy Abstracts. And then I've got some pure abstract paintings, basically just paint, you know, neatly applied and thrown on canvases from all directions. And there's quite large splashy paintings similar to Jackson Pollock. Also done some things where I've used corrugated aluminum, and now I'm going into using corrugated heavy-duty plastic materials, mainly because I can backlight them. But I've got a few of those in here too. And just listen to the music, and each scene is identified more or less, and I hope you enjoy yourself. Wait till the very end and you'll see CUBIE all lit up at night. That's my finale. Thank you very much for your support. Well, this is what CUBIE looks like at night. This is actually with two small flashlight style lighting devices that use 3 AAA batteries. They're just those little touch lights you see for cabinets and closets, you know, they're about 2.5 inches in diameter, and you push on the front of it and it lights up. Well, this is 2 lights. you can have, you know, one on each side. And I have a little cube that goes on the inside, so we have one light on each side and one on the top. Other than that, if CUBIE is on a pedestal, the lighting system can be placed inside a pedestal and can be as bright as the owner wishes. And then the pedestal has a clear plexiglass top, so CUBIE sits on top, and then the light can be you know, intensified as the owner desires, and even put on a rheostat so it can be raised and lowered. And this is the old general effect, and you can see clearly all the interesting computer parts here. This is just one little battery operated light, kind of like a flashlight shining through the top. This is one light kind of directed at the front. It's not actually centered right now. Creates a hot spot in the middle, but once assembled it'll look much better. So we've got to create about 75 cubies. I want many of them, about at least 20 of them will be about 1 foot square. Many of them will be anywhere from 3 to 6 inches square. And I'm going to make up a few little samples that are about 1 inch square that may or may not be lit. Really depends on, I can do them. I can have tiny LED lights and a tiny battery and just stick it inside the little 1 inch square CUBIE. Call it baby cubies. Anyway, that's CUBIE. I hope you'll support my project. Thank you very much.